Charles E. Smith Jewish Day School. The Charles E. Smith Jewish Day School, often referred to as CESJDS or JDS, is a private, pluralistic Jewish J-12 school located in two campuses in North Bethesda, Rockville postal address, Maryland, United States. Founded in 1966, the school's namesake is Charles E. Smith, a local Jewish philanthropist and real estate magnate. The head of school is Rabbi Mitchel Malkus. Campus. The school is separated into two distinct campuses. The lower school campus houses pre-kindergarten through 5th grade students, while the upper school houses 6th through 12th grade students. The two campuses are distinct yet interrelated, and school functions take place regularly at both locations. The two campuses are located less than 2 miles from one another. Lower school. The building has 3 levels. The oval Beit Midrash located at the entrance is regularly used for tefillah. Other notable facilities include the Great Books Reading Room, Field of Dreams Playground, technology labs, science classrooms, and a library with 2 designated working classrooms. Since 1976, the lower school has undergone 3 major renovations. The school now occupies approximately 130,000 square feet, 12,000 m2 on 11 acres, 45,000 m2, and houses over 700 lower school students. Upper school. The central hallway, the corridor, is bracketed by arches modeled on the archways in the ancient Jewish quarter of Byzantine Jerusalem. The main thoroughfare showcases student art and other projects. Throughout the structure are pieces of Jewish history and acknowledgments of the foundation of pluralism on which the school was established. The Beit Midrash features rounded stained glass windows circling a cupola based on Eastern European synagogue design, with each panel representing an essential principle of Judaism, including Torah, Neshama soul, Kavanah spirit, Tikkun olam repairing the world, and Rachamim compassion. A woodworking motif frames the room, and Jerusalem stone is featured throughout. The doorposts in the school have distinct mezuzot. Spaces for the arts and athletics include the Daniel Pearl Memorial Gym, which holds 700 and encompasses full-court basketball play. Art spaces include a ceramics studio with 6 pottery wheels and state-of-the-art kiln, a professionally equipped photography studio, a dark room, and a recording studio. Early graduation. The upper school curriculum is designed through a unique method whereby all high school seniors graduate after the fall semester, as opposed to continuing through the spring and graduating in May or June, as is the practice at most local schools. Students complete their high school studies in late January and graduate in early February, after which they are given the choice to go on a school-sponsored trip that mix education and tourism. It combines a week of Jewish history in Europe with a 3-month history. Solomon Schechter School of Greater Washington opened in September 1965, operating under the auspices of United Synagogue of America. Classes were held near Chevy Chase, Maryland. During the school's first year in operation, 2 teachers, Masha Spiegel and Masha Cohen, taught 7 children in kindergarten and 1st grade. Gershon W. Gross became the school's administrator in 1967. Throughout the school's history, it had operated in various rented spaces in Maryland, but it had long wanted a permanent location of its own. In 1971, the United Jewish Appeal asked the Greater Washington Jewish Community Foundation to raise funds to build a permanent location for the school. The Greater Washington Jewish Community Foundation searched for a site with about 10 acres, 40,000 m2 of land that was as close to Washington, D.C. as possible. In 1974, the Greater Washington Jewish Community Foundation took an option on a $500,000 property located on Montrose Road in Rockville. The Rockville property was adjacent to the new location of B'nai Israel congregation, which had moved there in 1970. A few months later, the Marjorie Webster School was put up for sale. The private Webster School's campus was located at 17th Street and Calmere Road in the Washington, D.C. neighborhood of Colonial Village. An option was taken on the Webster School, but it was later determined that the Webster School would require a more costly renovation than was financially practical. The site selection committee decided to move forward with the Montrose Road site in Rockville. Some families were unhappy with that decision, as the majority of students lived closer to the Colonial Village site than to the Rockville site. On April 24, 1977, the school dedicated its new 62,819 square foot 5,840 m2 building at 1901 E. Jefferson Street in Rockville. The $2.07 million building became the first permanent location for the school. The building is owned by the Greater Washington Jewish Community Foundation, and the school has a renewable 99-year lease. Charles E. Smith was the chairman of Greater Washington Jewish Community Foundation, and Smith had helped raise the funds to build the facility. In 1980, the school was renamed in honor of Charles E. Smith, who had been a generous donor and fundraiser for the school. The upper school was built in 1998, and the lower school was expanded in 2001. In April 2006, 3 seniors who were participating in the school-sponsored program in Israel through the Alexander Muss High School were arrested by Israeli police for marijuana possession. The marijuana was discovered by program guides, and the quantity was judged to be large enough to necessitate involving governmental authorities, according to Muss headmaster Chaim Fishgrund. Drug experts cited in a Jewish Standard article theorized that the students had intended to sell the marijuana. These 3 students were expelled from the program. Additionally, 6 other students were expelled on the basis of either having bought or used marijuana during the program. Local police arrested 2 students on drug charges who were held overnight. Athletics. The Lions participate in athletics in the Potomac Valley Athletic Conference. Their biggest rival is the Melvin J. Berman Hebrew Academy Cougars. They often rank in the top private schools in the state for track and field and cross country, winning the Maryland Private School Cross Country State Championship in 2017, as well as winning the 2017 PVIC Varsity Basketball Championship. Below is a list of sports that the Lions participate in. Notable alumni: Jeremy Bash, former Chief of Staff at the U.S. Department of Defense and the Central Intelligence Agencies. Natalie Portman, actress. Ari Shafir, comedian and host of the Skeptic Tank podcast. Samuel Shainbean, convicted murderer, Rachel Simmons, author of Odd Girl Out. Ethan Slater, actor. Alex Feder, musician who toured with Enrique Iglesias. Heather Brooks Carrots, sports writer and team president of XFL Team Los Angeles Wildcats. Jessica Steinberg, professor of law at George Washington University Law School. Michael Dunn, guard for NFL Cleveland Browns. A.J. Shapiro, Foley editor and Emmy winner for The Watchmen.